Hello there. This is a video for how to set up a new theme with the Choctaw template theme, just A to Z. I have done a few shortcuts just to make it so we're not waiting for bundles to download, but generally here is what needs to happen. So over here, I've got GitHub. I'm just going to clone this whole thing. I've got this installed. If not, you could use this. You could download the zip. You could open with Git, whatever is easiest. I'm just going to grab this because I have this installed. And I'm going to open my folder here. Okay, on VS Code. Okay, so some shortcuts that I've already made. Well, I'll show you in a second. So let's go into the terminal. And we can just, let's go in a level to WP content and themes. So right now in WP content themes, there's only 2023. I'm just going to paste my repo clone. It's going to clone a bunch of things in. So let's see, the shortcuts that I've taken here are, I've already downloaded some of this information, but I'll drag it back out and we'll be like, do you want to, yeah, just go ahead and replace it. Really, actually, all of this, drag it out, replace it, git ignore already exists. And then in here, we've got the starter theme. So I'm just going to drag that into the themes and delete that. So now I've got a starter themes folder, 2023, my git ignores, all that. And if I launch the website, then I should be able to change the theme. All right, let's see. This says I have ACF installed. That's another shortcut I took. This is all installed because of Composer, which I'll show you in a second. And the other shortcut that I took was I went ahead and pre-made a menu so the nav walker would work. So I just created a main menu, set it to all 3 locations, dropped the sample page. And now what you'll see is some errors because I don't actually have ACF running like I expected to in the code, but I figure you're going to hollow that out anyway, so no worries. Speaking of hollowing things out, so once we get here, you have basically done, you've moved starter theme into your themes, and you've moved all those. So you got package.json, composer.json, webpack config, sample auth. So this actually just needs to be called auth.json for ACF Pro installation. That's where you're going to put the username and password in your ACF. You can find that in the account right before you download the plugin. That's just so that you could install it with Composer. You totally don't have to do that, but it's there if you want it. The main thing a Composer is going to be good for is coding standards. Same thing with package.json. So here, CNO starter. It is a starter theme, which is, since I'm not going to rename this, let's go ahead and rename this actually. That's fine. So rename, call it CNO example. So now that's the name of our theme. And if I go into, let's do style, CNO example version 1.0. And then let's see. If I'm renaming everything, then I need to go to my package.json, and instead of starter theme, command D a bunch of times to select all of it and call CNO example. Let's see. I need to go to my webpack and replace this with CNO example. And that should all generally be taken care of for me. This app names thing is there. Just as a reminder, let's see. And I think now all I need to do is run npm install. And what that's going to do is it's going to install everything into a node modules folder up here in the top left. Obviously, I've already done that, so you don't have to wait for it. But it knows what to install because of this package.json, which is going to install your dependencies, which is WordPress scripts, Bootstrap, and Swiper. Dev dependencies, which is Font Awesome, WordPress, Prettier Config, Animate, npm run all, and Webpack bundle analyzer. So now, if I just run npm run start, having made all those changes, it will automatically update this dist folder, assuming we don't get an error. We do get an error here. That's my bad. I need to change that. But let's see. I'm going to make that change really quick. I don't need Swiper just yet. Okay, so now that I've commented out that import, everything works. And here is my npm run start. Now, I want to point out specifically that on global.css, that's not even running. Why isn't it running? Okay, well, I just had to restart. I hit Control-C to quit, and then specifically Control-C on a Mac, and then hit npm run start again. And that rebundled my global. It's probably because I had an issue on that import, and it was like throwing an error. So now global CSS. Now this is the start command specifically. So you see there's a bunch of comments and there's all the bootstrap imports and blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. And so then like as you make changes to your file, it will update automatically and everything is pointed to look at that. So I think if I go to my source styles, abstracts, let's just change variables. Down here, I've got color primary as color green. So if I make it color blue, for example, then that's going to rebundle on save, and I can just refresh this. And the starter theme doesn't exist. All right. Sorry. CNO example. Go here. I did this already. Okay, so themes. We need to go to menus. Nope. Let me change the menus. Menus. Main menu. Let's assign it save menu. Go. Okay, that should be a different color. Color primary light. Okay, so let me just change all these. Blue, color blue. All right, that's going to take a second to rebundle. There it goes. Refresh, and now it's blue. Hooray. So these are, right now the theme just works with these things. I have imported all of the CNO kind of standard colors from the nation site, but arbitrarily it's down here. These are the ones that you need to work with. So you could change this to not a CSS variable, or sorry, a SAS variable. You could, do whatever. And actually, in my base file, in the reset file, I set all of the CNO colors as CSS variables. You can totally undo that if you want, but just a thing to consider. Okay, so that's working. This is because ACF isn't actually built out like you want it to. But if I wanted to go to the home page and delete that, front page, I guess just get rid of that line and get rid of that line. Just get rid of like all of this actually. H1. Hi there. Okay, so there it is, and you can see it's got some bootstrap being loaded. Got CNO content sections, which is a whole business. If you just want to mark that up. But yeah, all right. So now that that's done, I wanted to show you some other things in the package.json file. This WordPress prettier config is WordPress's prettier config, so it'll all fix our code that way. So at the end, let's say I've finished editing all of my styles and things and blah, blah, blah. And it looks great. I'm going to run npm run build. So sorry, I'm all over the place, but let me go back to the package.json file. Package.json, there's build and start. There's a bunch of linting things which can help when we get there, when you're ready for it, but basically build and start. So start, they do the same thing, but one is for development and the other is for production. Specifically, npm run start will create this CSS map, and you'll see there's all these comments here in that. npm run build will take a minute and it'll actually build everything. This is where you get all the benefits of tree shaking and whatever and blah, 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 and minification. So yeah, so now there you go. That's npm run build. So you can see it's a minified global CSS file. It's a minified front page.css file if you get to do that. Let's see, global asset doesn't have any dependencies. But if you were to say on front page, on the source file here, like this is JSX. For no reason, I'm not actually using any JSX, but let's just say on the front page, let's just add a hash app here. Then on my app.js file, what I could do is import create root from WordPress element. And I'm doing that because specifically create root and WordPress element require React. So then I say document.getElementById. It's called create root that dot render app, and app is a function, takes no arguments, and returns h1 hello from React. Okay, great. So that all exists. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run npm build again, and let's just take a look what's going on here. Okay, great. In the network, we can see there is basically no JavaScript. There's the global JavaScript that's doing nothing, but here's front page. And now if I refresh, well, that didn't work. I didn't, well, no, so now there's this intersection observer. Okay, front page asset, return dependencies, WP element. So that's all existing and works. It's because I'm not calling the CNO NQ assets, and it's called front page. And now it's calling in all of that stuff. And if we look, I misspelled app like a genius. Great. Well, I'm just going to misspell it here. npm run build one more time. Reload this page. And hello from React. And that has, you can see on the JavaScript, React element.min. That just comes bundled, so you don't have to install anything. But that's the whole reason for Webpack and things. But yeah. Anyways, I don't remember why I went down that rabbit hole, but that's how. Oh yeah, because now basically the whole difference between npm run build and npm run start is you get like these dependencies. That's why I do it this way. And it's minified there and there. So that's the difference. So when you ship and push to GitHub, you just need to run npm run build, and then it will initialize things over here. We'll go ahead and do that. Save first, commit. Great. So there's that. So that's npm basically. I'm going to take a break, and then when I come back, I'm going to talk about Composer, which is like npm, but for PHP.